Ion Fury is a first-person shooter that does everything it can to pull you back into the nostalgic days of Duke Nukem. But does the shit-talking Shelly BombShell Harrison replace the Duke, or is he still king of the retro first-person shooters?
You gotta keep them separated.
You play as Shelly Harrison, an expert in the field of bomb disposal and apparently taking out hordes of enemies. Dr. Heskel, a cult leader, attacks Neo DC with his giant army of cyber soldiers, and he constantly smack talks you as you make your way through to his secret base.
Despite all your rage, you are still just a rat in a cage.
It's a simple enough story. I mean, I guess it has more depth than aliens stealing all the babes and turning cops into pigs. If you grew up in the 90s and had access to a game console or PC, more than likely you played some kind of first-person shooter. Whether it was Heretic, Hexen, Duke Nukem, or Doom, you know exactly how Ion Fury will look and feel. Some people say you should never go full retro, but Ion Fury decided to go full retro and it only made the gaming experience that much sweeter. Heck, it even uses the same game engine Duke Nukem did, with some improvements of course. They knew their audience and they tried to pull on as many nostalgia strings as they could.
We're done when I say we're done.
Ion Fury is a hardcore first-person shooter that doesn't even ease you into the game with a flashy tutorial. They designed the early stages so that you can figure out how the game handles on your own. For people that already know how games like this work, you can blast through them pretty quick. This isn't one of those duck and cover games, so circle strafing will be your friend. Your health doesn't regenerate, but there are plenty of health pickups, along with extra food items that push you past the 100 health limit. There are super med kits that you can hold on to and use as needed, which is super helpful for those bad situations. If you are one of those people that saves before every corner and then reloads after taking a shot, these will seem pretty useless. Besides health, you'll be looking for those sweet armor pickups. There are multiple armor upgrades for 50, 100, and 200. You can break past those limits with single armor upgrade shards. Try to pick those up if you have 0 armor or right after you pick up a suit to maximize those armor levels. I really enjoyed the gunplay of Ion Fury. There aren't a huge amount of guns with about 8 total, but most have a very useful secondary attack. Like with your pistol with its multi-lock-on headshot, or the shotgun that swaps into a grenade launcher. Each weapon is satisfying to use, which is nice because you will be swapping between weapons quite often. I'm fond of the cluster puck and bowling bomb. You aren't able to stock up on a lot of ammo for each weapon type, so swapping when needed will be key for clearing rooms of your enemies. The variety of enemies feels pretty limited at 13, but it is a few more than most games from the time it references. Enemies range from spider bots, which although are annoying, are easy to kill with a quick melee swing, up to the much more difficult skinless cyborgs that can be much more to handle if not properly prepared.
This is the worst I've seen yet. This man has no dick.
Make sure to have some ammo in the chain gun for these guys. There are 3 bosses total, not including the main boss. Boss fights to me were the only frustrating part of the game, up until you find out how to cheese them, which is totally what I did in the 90s. Each fight pits you up against the boss in an arena, which also swarms you with basic, smaller enemies. You'll have to take out the basic enemies first, or you will be overwhelmed. Bosses are major bullet sponges, and I found myself saving between each 25% chunk of their health. There always seemed to be a moment where everything goes well, up until it doesn't, and you don't want to fight the boss from full health again. I played this on the PlayStation 4, and partway through I tested to see if the mouse and keyboard functionality was added. It was not, and I was sad. You can always get the PC version if preferred. Be prepared to get lost as you look for the colored cards. There is an overhead map to help out with this, but I felt it wasn't very useful overall and never really ended up using it much. There is no multiplayer as well, which is fine, but co-op story mode would have been a blast. At least you can platinum this game whenever you want to, without having to worry about online features being taken offline. From the sounds of the guns to the health pickups, Ion Fury takes you back to those old days of PC gaming with the dedicated Sound Blaster cards. The music is fantastic with its electronic style and sets the mood for some major ass kicking. The main boss, Dr. Heskel, is voiced by the same actor that did Duke Nukem. The voice actor for Shelly did a great job delivering her smack-talking lines.
Oh, I don't think that's covered under warranty.
But if it becomes too annoying hearing the same one-liner over and over, you are able to turn her taunts off. you know what you're getting with this game. This is a true-to-form mid-90s first-person shooter. There have been a few quality of life improvements for things like switches. They have a 3D model so they easily stand out against the flat textures. But overall, this is a beautifully crafted, pixelated game. I did have some frame rate drops during a few boss fights when everything was exploding. I was kind of shocked that the PS4 was having troubles. You'd think consoles could finally handle old PC 90s games.
I'm afraid it's going to take more than a glorified meter maid to shut down this operation, Shelly.
I was able to pick this game up at Best Buy for about $30. It was nice to finally see some limited run games there. There were a few copies for the Switch, and I would assume Xbox as well. Even though I played this game on the PlayStation 4, I feel this game would have been a lot more enjoyable on the Nintendo Switch. It's easy to get into, and being able to save at any time, it's perfect for the on-the-go gaming. Whatever console or computer you play it on, if you love retro games or old first-person shooters, I feel Ion Fury is totally worth your precious game time. Alright everyone, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to see more content like this. Stay safe, stay retro. I hope you find the games you're looking for, and we'll see you next time. Later.